Hey everybody, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're looking at something a little different. It's this really cool community cookbook project
Mm.
that came out of the aftermath of those awful wildfires we had here in LA.
Oh, yeah.
Really shows how food can bring people together, especially when times are tough. And we'll be looking at a blog post from BakeSpace.com, which is this really neat
Okay.
online platform all about recipes and connecting through food. So they were really in a unique position to help out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a fascinating story, I think, just thinking about, if you had to grab just a few things
Yeah.
and evacuate because of a fire, what's the one recipe you would try to save?
Oh, that's such a good question to start with.
Yeah.
Like, it makes you think about how important the kitchen is
Mm.
to all of us. It's not just, a room with appliances. It's really the heart of the home, right?
It really is, yeah. And the blog post we're looking at for this deep dive, the author actually says that the kitchen is where life happens. Homework happens, families have, those important conversations. And then also, cookies get baked to celebrate the good times. It's like the center of it all.
Totally. And, for BakeSpace, which is all about connecting people through food,
Mm.
that idea really resonated with them when they saw what was happening here in LA.
I can imagine, when you lose your kitchen in a disaster, like these wildfires, it's not just about losing, the physical space.
Right.
You're losing all those memories and emotions tied to it. It's almost like losing a part of your identity.
Definitely. And the author of this blog post, Babette, she talks about, packing up her valuables as the fires are getting closer
Oh, wow.
and, trying to grab those, things her grandparents had given her and
Yeah.
just the anxiety that everyone in the community was feeling,
Right.
having to make those impossible choices about what to save. And even something like her husband got his head glued back together
Oh, my God.
after an accident. And it all happened in the kitchen,
Wow.
It just shows how central that space was to their lives.
It's interesting how it's sometimes these small everyday moments that really drive home the impact of something like this.
Yeah,
It goes so much deeper than just, the practical inconvenience.
for sure.
Yeah.
What also stood out to me was that BakeSpace, they're connected to so many of the food bloggers that were affected by the fires.
Okay.
They've cooked these bloggers' recipes,
Mm-hmm.
Celebrated their successes, even had like Christmas cookie parties together.
Oh, interesting.
So these are real people that they care about, not
Yeah.
just, names on a screen.
It's like you said earlier, it highlights how interconnected everything is, We tend to focus on the immediate damage after a disaster, but the impact really extends
Yeah,
so much further than that. It touches communities in ways we don't often see right away.
absolutely. Yeah, it really is a powerful reminder. And what's even more amazing is that BakeSpace, they decided to create this community cookbook
Oh, wow.
to help. And get this, they're donating 100% of the profits
Really?
to help these families rebuild their lives or their kitchens.
That's incredible.
I know it's a big deal. Some might say donating all the profits, isn't the most financially savvy move.
Yeah.
But I think it really speaks volumes about BakeSpace's values.
It does. It's not just a fundraising project. It's about showing compassion and solidarity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like they're really showing up for their community in a tangible way.
Mm-hmm.
It got me curious, though, like how does BakeSpace actually work?
Right.
How do you even go about creating a community cookbook on an online platform?
Well, think of BakeSpace as this digital meeting place for people who love food.
Hmm.
So, people can share their recipes, connect with other passionate cooks,
Yeah,
and participate in all sorts of, fun challenges and projects.
right.
And in this case, they put out a call to action for the community, inviting people to submit recipes that hold a special meaning for them.
Oh, so it's not just like a random collection of recipes then?
No, not at all. Each dish has a story behind it,
Uh-huh.
a connection to the community.
That makes sense.
Exactly. And by bringing all these recipes together, they're creating this powerful tapestry of culinary traditions and family memories.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah, and it's a way for people to share their heritage even if they've lost their physical kitchens.
Did BakeSpace share any details about, the kinds of recipes they received?
They did mention getting a wide range of submissions, everything from family secret soups and stews
Okay.
to, beloved desserts and even some interesting twists on classic dishes.
Hmm.
What's fascinating is that this cookbook becomes a real, tangible representation of the community's resilience
Yeah.
and their ability to find comfort and joy in food, even in the face of loss.
It's like each recipe is a little piece of hope. A reminder that even in the darkest of times, life goes on,
Mm.
and we can still nourish ourselves and connect with each other.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the practical side of things. The money raised from this cookbook is
Yeah.
going directly to those who need it most, helping them rebuild their lives and their kitchens.
Yeah, that's so important.
It's a way to provide real concrete support, and empower them to create new memories in their new kitchens.
It's really incredible how something like a cookbook
Yeah,
can have such a profound impact.
it is, providing that comfort, the financial support,
Yeah.
and, a way for the community to be a part of their own healing process.
Right. And it's not just about, receiving help, but also being able to contribute to it
Exactly.
and share their stories and traditions. It's
Yeah,
like they're taking this tragedy and turning it into something positive, you know?
absolutely. And think about the long-term impact too. That this cookbook becomes a symbol of resilience for them,
Right.
something that families can pass down, through generations.
Yeah.
A reminder that even after, such devastation, there's hope and there's that connection through those shared meals.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's that tangible reminder that even in the darkest times, life goes on.
Yeah.
And we find ways to, nourish ourselves and connect with each other.
This deep dive has been so interesting. It's really highlighted how powerful food can be as a tool for healing. It goes way beyond, just sustenance.
Right.
It's about community, it's about memory, and it's about resilience.
It makes you wonder, though, we've been talking about LA, but what about other communities, around the world
Mm.
facing similar challenges?
Mm.
Could something like this cookbook project work for them?
It's a really good question. You know, how can we as a society use the power of food to support each other?
Mm.
Not just when there's a crisis, but in our everyday lives.
Yeah.
Maybe it starts with something as simple as, sharing a favorite recipe
Yeah.
or inviting a neighbor over for dinner.
I love that we can all find ways to nourish hope one delicious bite at a time. Thanks for joining us today on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We hope it gave you something to think about.